First of all, Sean, obviously Friday wasn't that fun. Where do you feel it went wrong, especially in the second half?
Obviously, they scored 5 goals and we didn't get any. That's the first thing. It's interesting because, and maybe I'm a little bit to blame on this one, because at half time, the way the game was going, I thought we could go and win it. You know, I thought first half we didn't start great, but then after their initial sort of 10 minutes, which they're going to have at home, don't start that again?
Nope.
No, good. They're going to have that at home. I thought we got into the game pretty well, and you know, first half was pretty equal, and I thought, you know, we knew that Quinny needed to get some minutes. So making that call and moving Logan out of the midfield, and Logan did really well in midfield. He's got a lot of energy and he's quite athletic. So moving that and bringing Quinny in so early probably exposes a little bit. So I might, you know, reflect on that and think maybe I could have done that a little bit later, maybe 20 minutes to go or something like that, and stayed in the game. Because when they got the first goal, which was, again, we started the second half, I think, pretty well with Quinny, and you know, we looked to be the dominant team. But once they scored the first goal, we then didn't really have the legs to match them.
For the good moments that we did have, it felt like the final product wasn't necessarily there, and I think John Morrissey wrote there was only 4 touches in Charleston's box all night.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, we didn't. We had a couple of opportunities, I thought, in the first half where we could have broke away, and we were like playing 3 versus 1 on a couple of them, and we just didn't get all the ball in the halfway line. We didn't play the final pass, so we can't get to the scoring moments, can't get into their box if we don't retain the ball in around the halfway line, and that was the problem in the first half. We had really good counter-attacking moments that we didn't take advantage of. Then in the second half, the game's obviously completely different once they go to 3-0. I think 5-0 probably flatters them a little bit, you know, especially with the last 2 goals, but not good enough from our point of view, and we've all got to improve.
Guys got back in, I believe, yesterday to training. How was things yesterday?
Yeah, good. Yeah, good. You know, we've got to focus on another game. Always said, always will say, no matter what happens, the next game's the most important one. So we've got to put that one to bed, and we've got to try and focus on the next game.
You've had kind of a month now without these 3-game weeks, but you're back to it this week. It's kind of difficult when it's hot as it is, training and for games. So I'm assuming, as we've seen in past weeks, there'll be kind of that in-game rotation, as you've spoken about before.
Yeah, there will be, but we're pleased it's another game. You know, after what happened on Friday night, we won a game as quickly as possible.
When you saw Rhode Island relatively recently, 3-3 at their place, anything different in how you kind of attack this one?
No, it's going to be tough. They're a good team. Like, they've got a lot of goals in them, and I think they're probably on a similar run to what we were in May and June. So we're coming up against a really tough opponent, but it's coming down to that crunch time of the season where we've got to get some wins, and we've got to attack the opponent more.
Back at home for 2 games this week. Excited to be back in front of the fans, I'm assuming?
Yeah, of course. You know, we want to put right what we didn't put wrong, and we had a couple of supporters down there in Charleston, maybe the local people, but I know everybody's, you know, at home watching, and if they're not watching the game, you know, they're looking at the result, and it's a bit disappointing when you wake up and see your team's got beat 5-0. So we'll make sure we put on record what we think of the supporters by giving her an absolute fighting performance on both of these home games.